all, thank you very much for inviting me. Here and giving me this opportunity to explain what's happening in Turkey. I know that many of you are working to support the people who are suffering under the ongoing injustice situation in Turkey, but I will try to explain the situation of judiciary a little. I just want to give you a little bit more details, and it would be good probably to understand how the problem is deeper than it's seen, and then maybe it can give us the chance to discuss the possibilities to support the people who are trying to change the situation, who are trying to go on their professional activities as lawyers or as journalists or the academics, or just ordinary people who are trying to breathe in this country, just to feel safe, feel secure under this quite undefined situation. So I think this will be the main topic today that I will present to you. Should I wait for the translation, or we have some conferences? We were always trying to explain the situation under an ongoing state of emergency. You know that Turkey had a state of emergency non-stop for 2 years. But in these kind of presentations, in these kind of discussions, we were always trying to underline that Turkey was never a country with zero problems in regard, like when we discuss about the judiciary. But the state of emergency made things worse, and now we came to a point that there is no possibility to talk about the judiciary. So I think this should be the first starting point. There is no judiciary in Turkey now. That we have to look is the situation of the lawyers, and I know that in Italy you have organized a significant number of campaigns, but it's good to remember the number of the lawyers who are in prison. Like currently, we only have, like the last report that we got months ago, and there were around 600 lawyers who were in prison. And almost every week, there is a new police operation or there is a new investigation against lawyers. For instance, the last one that we were informed was opened 10 days ago, and the lawyers who participate in the ceremony in front of the Istanbul Bar Association after the day that we lost Ebru Timtik, now they are all accused to be a member of terrorist organization.
Ok, allora sono a conoscenza del fatto che in Italia ci sono delle reti di mobilitazione a favore a difesa dei diritti umani. Quello che vorrei meglio sottolineare e ricordare è che ad oggi, dal 2016 in poi, diciamo, circa 600 avvocati sono stati arrestati e comunque ogni settimana si verifica un'operazione di polizia e comunque delle investigazioni che portano a nuovi arresti e nuove violazioni. Forse
situation of lawyers is determining all the process, because when they're not, like when we are not secure, when we are not safe, when we are not under the protection, it means that the right of defense is not under protection. It means that one of the most significant principles of the fair trial is violated systematically. So this affects everything. But also the situation of judges and prosecutors are also quite problematic, especially after the state of emergency. Together with the state of emergency, we know that the number of the dismissed judges and prosecutors became around 4,000. And it means that the ones who are on duty now are acting their proficiency under the threat of being dismissed or even being arrested. So now I really like to call it like that. The decisions are not made by independent judges or prosecutors, but they're made by the people who are really very afraid of their own future. And of course, there are other prosecutors and judges, and they prefer to follow the orders that they are receiving from the government or the ruling party or the ruling actors. And under these circumstances, we have no chance to discuss about the independency or impartiality of the judiciary actors.
Quel che accade è...
I will try to give some concrete examples on this issue, but it's important to understand that all the problems are like starting together with the prosecution phase. So, for instance, the indictment is one of the main documents of the criminal procedure, and unfortunately, in Turkey, we have some indictments that are only based on the manipulation of the prosecutor. For instance, there was a very significant trial in Turkey in last 1 year, and the accused people were just journalists, and they were accused because of their reportings, and the prosecutor claimed that they made some statements and they made some news about some secret state information. And the main argument of the prosecutor was a constitutional court decision, and the prosecutor claimed that the constitutional court said even if an information is known by the public, if this information categorized as secret, then you cannot talk about it. And when we checked the constitutional court decision, we realized that there is no such a sentence. In the indictment, the prosecutor just manipulated the sentence, that just changed the grammatic structure of the constitutional court's decision and changed all the context. And these journalists were convicted after a while, after the trial started. So, we are not just dealing with wrong decisions or unlawful situations, but unfortunately, the prosecutors are just creating some crimes by themselves, and everything starts in that phase. When we consider the case file against the lawyers in Turkey, for instance, Selçuk Kozağaçlı was arrested by the judge because the judge claimed that there is a risk for him to escape, but the main fact was quite different when he went to the courthouse by himself to give his testimony, but the decision was grounded because of the risk of escape. So this was the interpretation of the prosecutor, and then the judge accepted this interpretation. If a prosecutor wants to make an accusation to a person, the prosecutor really doesn't need to focus on collecting the evidence. Unfortunately, according to the current implementation of the criminal procedure law in Turkey, if the prosecutor can find a witness, a so-called witness, we call them as anonymous witness, who gave testimony against you, this could be accepted as an enough suspect, and then there will be an indictment for sure, and some of the courts can make a decision against the defendant just by listening an anonymous witness that you have no idea who this person is, you have no idea to make cross-examination. So every single international principles of the criminal law and the principles of fair trial are violated.
Sorry.
Of course, we are always talking about the politicians or lawyers or judges or journalists, authors, etc., because we are luckier than many other people. We have our connections, we have the chance to explain what's happening to us together with your help. But this situation is also affecting all the citizens, all the civil society. Last week, a retired person was arrested just because of a comment that he made at the street. He just questioned the salary of one ministry. And, you know, one television came to him, asked his opinion, and they arrested him because of one question that he asked publicly. And he's a retired person. He doesn't have any other room to speak. And unfortunately, because of all these fear and because of all these traits, many people start to apply an auto-censor to themselves. Every day, maybe hundreds of people are just investigated because of their social media posts. And I know that Aurora explained you the situation of Aytaç, but he was tortured when he was arrested. So you saw the picture, you saw the photo of him, and we know that he was transferred to an F-type prison, and now we have no idea who will take care of him there, because he's still not able to walk properly, he's still not able to take care of himself alone, and we also don't know what is the condition in that prison during these corona days. As you see, I'm giving different kind of examples because there is a clear connection with all these incidents. It's really very significant to focus on different kind of violations altogether here because they are working together. Currently, as we said, we don't have a judiciary. It means that we don't have an independence of the judicial actors. We don't have a protection of the lawyers and the human rights defenders. We don't have the freedom of expression. We don't have any implementation of the principles of fair trial. We don't have the right to organize. Therefore, now we cannot mention one single fundamental rights, which is valid in Turkey. Very briefly, yes, the situation is dramatically pessimistic and bad, but together with this, on the other hand, in Turkey, we still have a strong position of the oppositions. You know, we still have thousands of women who are organizing demonstrations. We still have hundreds of lawyers who are insisting on practicing their proficiency under these circumstances. So, the Gezi protests, those well-known protests, that movement, this happened only 7 years ago. So these people are still living in Turkey. So it means that we still have a lot of hope for the future, but also it means that we have a lot of responsibility to support people who are resisting, who are fighting under these circumstances, who are trying to survive, but also trying to change the situation. So I think this should be the main issue that we will focus on, and we will go on trying to support them. We need two things together here. One is the support, the solidarity from the international legal community, as we are doing today. But the other part is also trying to support the people in Turkey by forcing our institutions to act properly. Unfortunately, the decisions of the European Court of Human Rights didn't help the situation in Turkey. On the contrary, the government used their decisions in many cases. And I believe that we can do both together, because now a lot of people need to hear that they are heard by us. It's not just about finding a solution, but under these circumstances, to know that someone is hearing you, someone is caring you, other societies are talking about you, this is significant. This is also a very significant outcome of solidarity. And I know that they need it. I know that Aytaç will need our support, our solidarity. Thank you once again for giving me this chance. I'm sorry for speaking a little bit long. Yeah, thank you.